welcome to This Day program for this August 21st, this Friday. We hope you are looking forward to the weekend. I'm Paul Ortiz, and I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. Well, today we're going to start you off with a brain teaser. I know Lisa likes to share these with you. So this is a brain teaser that will leave you stumped. You know, solving logic problem boosts brain power, keeps your memory strong, and entertains everyone to no end. So let's go ahead and see what our question is for today. What is at the end of a rainbow? And a lot of these, once you get the answer, you're going to realize that it's pretty obvious. But this is our question for today. What is at the end of a rainbow? Now let's tell you about some of the meetings. This is going to be our software IS research group. That's going to be at noon this afternoon if you're watching our morning program. Software IS research group. It's at noon, and you can pick that up at lagunawoodsvillage.com/meetings. Also, the GRF Bylaws Ad Hoc Committee, they'll be meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So just two meetings for this Friday, that one at noon, and then the GRF Bylaws Ad Hoc Committee is at 2 o'clock. Well, let's tell you about who's going to be on our program today. We're going to have Elise Rothrock. She is going to be joining us. She is the editor of The Village Breeze, and we'll be talking about that issue that just came out. And we're going to talk a little bit about how this all developed and a little bit about her background as well. So we're looking forward to having that conversation with her. Also, life hacks with Lisa Hart. Before Lisa left, she left quite a few recordings for us, and she's going to give you some tips that can help you around the house and just get you through the day at times. So, life hacks with Lisa Hart. So let's take you to our reminders. This is ochealthinfo.com. This is how you can get information by city. I believe Laguna Woods Village is still just below 50, I believe, for cases. So good job out there. Be sure and wear your mask and keep your social distancing. Continue that practice, you know, until I would say at least for another few months. CDC.gov, that's staying safe with COVID-19. And then the COVID19.ca.gov, that gives you all the California numbers and the governor's reopening plan. So they've just added that hotline as well. That's at 714-834-2000. And also you can go to Laguna Woods Village Alerts to get any up-to-date information here in our community. And you can send them an email as well. Let's go outside and take a look at the weather. It's going to be another kind of a warm day today. It is cooling off just a little bit. We'll have some warm temperatures for the next couple of days though. So 89 for today, 71 overnight. As you can see, the temperatures overnight are still pretty warm. They're going to be well into the low 70s and high 60s, so a little warm. You might want to have a window or a fan available, but we're going to have some warmer temperatures for the next couple of days. You can see as Sunday approaches, temperatures will come down a little bit to the mid-80s, but still pretty warm and nice. I do suggest that you get out there and get those walks in early, and be sure and wear sunblock. And let's take a look at that sunrise and sunset, and this is a wonderful picture brought to you by Mark Rabinowitz, and the sunrise is going to be this morning at 6:18 a.m. Our sunset will be at 7:29 this evening. And Mark Rabinowitz brought us that picture. That is in Anza Borrego out there at the Desert State Park. And our good friend George Phelps, who was a host on this program for well over 30 years, lives out there in Anza. But what a wonderful picture, Mark. I imagine it's some kind of I want to say bronze, but it looks like copper of some kind of sculpture out there at the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. But if you have any wonderful pictures just like that one, send it to us here at Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com. We'll be back with Elise Rothrock and the Village Breeze right after this.
COVID-19 is a serious respiratory disease. There are simple steps we can all take to stay healthy and protect our community. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and warm water. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces daily. Cover coughs and sneezes with a tissue or elbow and avoid touching your face. If you do have symptoms like cough and fever, stay at home and call your doctor. When we all do our part, we can keep California healthy. For more information, visit covid19.ca.gov.
Today, we are marking the beginning of a new era as City of Hope opens its first location right here in Newport Beach.
We have 500 scientists and doctors who have dedicated their lives to beating cancer. So they use that intellectual capital to try to make sure every patient gets the best care possible that's known to science.
Over 25 years, we have worked hard to make Brilliant Smile the premier dental office in Laguna Woods. We take the extra time to understand our patients' special needs and always perform the highest quality dental work at affordable prices in a relaxing and friendly environment. There is no need to refer our patients to anybody else. We perform everything from cleaning all the way to the implant and sinus surgeries all under one roof. Stop in or call and experience the Brilliant Smile difference.
How are you making the most of your life, and do you apply that same devotion to planning your financial future? A train off its tracks goes nowhere. Having a financial plan that is consistent with your lifestyle will keep you on track through your retirement years.
Align Wealth Advisors specializes in creating a financial strategy that best fits your needs and your lifestyle, now and in the future.
Align Wealth Advisors. Life, wealth, balance.
At Harvard Eye, we are so happy to be open again and to see all of you for your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence, and we're committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Well, joining us on the set now is Elise Rothrock, and she is the editor of The Village Breeze, this wonderful magazine that's just been produced here in the last year or so. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, hi, Paul. Thank you for having me.
You
Glad
bet.
to be here.
Before we talk about the magazine, let's get a chance to find out a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I am a Midwestern transplant. I grew up in the Chicago area, and I am a graduate of Purdue University. And after my senior year, I moved out here with my now husband. We've lived here since, gosh, almost 27 years now.
Wow.
And I got my start in magazine publishing right here, local. It was called Fancy Publications at the time, right at the corner of Rockfield and Bake.
Sounds fancy.
It was dog fancy, cat fancy.
Oh.
This company had about 40 different specialty publications, ranging from pet care to private piloting, birding, motorcycles, all these different titles. It was a great place to work and cut your teeth and gain some experience.
Right.
And I've been in magazines for about 25 years. And I got word from a friend and colleague who had been working here, and her department was looking for some help, and my previous gig had ended. So I decided, I'd always known about Laguna Woods Village, and I thought it was a great place. You know, it looked beautiful, and you know, it seemed so idyllic, and you know, I thought this would be a great place to, you know.
What great timing for you too, because we all seen kind of print and even newspapers, they've shrunk and shrunk and shrunk, and advertising has kind of left a little bit of the print magazine business just because of online services. And then you're able to step in, and this is the perfect, you know, scenario for you, because this is something the community is really looking forward to.
Well, I hope so. That's the goal. You know, we want to make sure that we're providing vital information that residents need to, everything they need to know to live in the village. We want to entertain them, inspire them, share a little bit of history, share some information about what's going on in all the various departments and divisions with village management services. So everybody's kept up to date on what's going on. But a print vehicle is a great thing, and some people might think, well, you know, with print dying, why would you do such a thing? I don't think print's dying necessarily. And the fact is that we have a lot of great platforms to communicate with the residents. We have e-platforms. We have What's Up in the Village on Fridays. We have special e-blasts that go out with important news. We have Village Television. But not all of our residents are receiving the electronic options, because if they haven't signed up, then they're not receiving our information, and they may not go to the website. You know, we've gotten a lot of great feedback from people who say they appreciate having you know, a hard print copy in their hands that they can refer to. Yeah,
I was covering a meeting the other day, and someone said that they had seen it on the digital email, I imagine, that you send them, but they also were talking about how they enjoy just having this in their hand. And it's a lot easier to refer to, especially, you know, if you just have it on the table and then you can look up whatever you like. Plus the information in here has become so, I want to say, consistent. You can like go to a certain page and kind of color coded them a little bit, you know, depending on the mutual and the topic. So that's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, we did that purposely, worked with a great designer who's created a beautiful product. And we have kind of organized it and coded it so that people know to look for the departments. If they have a question about resident services, or if they have a frequently asked question, they can go to the, you know, that front matter, those departments. And then we lead into the, oh, there are my covers.
That's beautiful, huh?
Then we can lead into feature stories, and then some of the contact us, the map, you know, some of the staples that people can use every month, all the time. And with our covers, we decided that we wanted to use a strong, iconic image that represented the village. You know, of course, our inaugural issue has village greens there, and I promise all of these pictures were taken in the village. You mentioned Mark Rabinowitz earlier in the broadcast. He photographed our ibis here for the June-July issue. And the August-September cover is a result of our haiku contest that we ran. That is a resident who took that photo, and there's more information about that on the inside cover. Great. People would like to look into that.
So how long does it take you to kind of start this development process? So this just got out, I believe, last week. So are you already starting to work on the next issue?
I already started working on the next issue before that dropped in the mail.
Wow.
Yes, yes. I'm always looking for article ideas, trying to look for information on the internet and various platforms that may be interesting to residents. Asking the various directors of the different departments, can please share some information with me that I can get out to the residents so we can answer their questions.
What I like about it, though, is that not only, like you said, there's a lot of information regarding the community and governance, which is really important here, and which obviously a lot of people are involved in. But you also brought in that homey feel to it by bringing residents and telling their stories, like the Pacellas originally, or Brett Halsey is in this one. And for those of you that know Brett, he's a terrific gentleman, has lived here in our community for quite some time, an actor for many, many years, and I believe the great-grandson of Admiral Halsey. And there's a wonderful article in here about him. And it's the amazing things that I found working here is that you'll be in a meeting or in an elevator with somebody, and then you kind of understand, you know, where they're coming from, or like, you know, where they worked and what their career was like, and all of a sudden it's someone, you know, they were with NASA, or they were a professor at Purdue or something like that. It's pretty interesting. There's so many various people here in the community. It's nice to bring it here to the page.
Yeah, we definitely want to add that element to the publication. I mean, everybody loves a great human interest story, and what better stories than here in the village with residents' neighbors. So we want to make sure we can help folks get to know their neighbors a little bit better.
Absolutely. Now, what else is in this magazine? I understand there's a map as well that seems to be pretty popular.
Yes, in the centerfold, we have a map of the village, and we publish that every issue. So if you lose an issue, you can always wait for the next one to come out. And help get you around and navigate through your community.
Now, I know when we talked earlier, when we talked about the delivery process, this is delivered to every person's home, correct?
Yes, we have a single sponsorship situation with Memorial Care, and they pay for all of our printing and our mailing costs. And we've chosen to go with an every door direct program. And unfortunately, we've had some challenges with the Postal Service in that, and we're in contact with them on a regular basis to try to rectify that situation.
Right.
You know, the Postal Service is experiencing some turmoil, and some of that may or may not be related, we don't know, but any resident who doesn't receive their copy is more than welcome to contact me, and I think at the end of this presentation, my email address is up there.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to know who is not getting that copy.
Yeah, and that was the interesting comments I heard, that sometimes the mail carrier actually didn't want to deliver them because obviously this is a little bit heavier and it makes their delivery a little more difficult. And then we also have people that they might have just stopped, you know, across the sidewalk from you, and now like, hey, wait a second, my neighbor got this, how come I didn't get it? And it's just going to take a couple of days sometimes.
Yeah, and it depends on the postal carrier also. We've noticed a couple trends where, you know, certain streets, various people didn't receive their copies. And, you know, and I can relate to postal carriers who have a lot to deliver. I had a paper route when I was very young.
That's right.
I can't say that I dumped any of my papers, but I was tempted. Certainly I'm not implying that's going on here, but I know that the Postal Service has substitute carriers, and they may not be completely up to speed on the situation, and that's why we're in contact with the Postal Service so that we can try to fix that situation.
And plus, we're trying to save a little bit of money too by going to bulk rate, right? So it kind of goes out in phases.
That's right. So even though we are not paying for the mailing costs, it does save money to stagger the delivery. And we're also saving on in-house printing costs because, as you may remember, the legacy Breeze that was produced, that was all double-sided paper. And there were so many copies that were being made, and it didn't have a very wide distribution. I mean, it was available, but not like this where it's being delivered to your door.
And that's one of the other cost savings that people don't realize, is that a lot of this information was put on hundreds of flyers and papers, and the mailroom was printing these out and delivering them to clubhouses and everywhere else, especially the recreation-sponsored events. Now we have all of it in one concise publication. It's saving the community quite a bit of money and staff time.
That's exactly right. We produce, in our department, we produce a lot of information, and a lot of this information that winds up in the Breeze has been online, or it has been in the e-blasts, but not, like I said, not everybody gets them, and you know, everything there, it's a one-stop shop basically.
Right.
A lot of great information in there. The recreation guide, hopefully, you know, we can start putting everything back in there the way that we had it in our first couple of issues sooner than later. But you know, with the COVID situation, it's kind of hard to tell when we're going to be able to do that.
Right.
But, we have transportation in there. We have security, social services, what's up in the village, which is kind of like a catch-all news section up front. We have landscaping, maintenance, and construction. We even have the History Center in there on the back page. They've been very helpful scouring their files and their archives to help me share some content that's interesting in a historical.
Great. Well, it sounds like you got your hands full. The next magazine is already starting to develop, and people can contact you or email you and kind of give you some ideas of maybe some topics that we can possibly see in future issues?
Absolutely. I'm all about collaboration, and I love to get feedback from residents, constructive or otherwise. So if anybody's interested in reaching out to me, or if they have a comment or a question, they're more than welcome to email me, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can.
Great. Well, there's the information right there. Just give her an email at elise.rothrock@vmsinc.org, and you'll answer some questions and maybe some topics as well.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for joining us on the program. It's a very well-done magazine and been very successful, so congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Hey, we'll be back with more Village Television and This Day right after this.
Hello, I'm Barry Arbuckle, President and CEO of Memorial Care. This important message is for our patients, employees, physicians, and our community, and it must not wait. Together, we have flattened the COVID-19 curve by social distancing and other measures. Together, we have prepared for the possibility of a surge in hospital patients, which thankfully we haven't experienced. And together, we have continued to provide exceptional, safe health care to a small percentage of patients who have the virus and many others with healthcare needs completely unrelated. Together, we must now focus on renewal. Renewal of healthcare services and, most importantly, the renewal of your healthcare. I know some of you are reluctant to seek care as our community adjusts to reopening. You may be ignoring symptoms or delaying important treatment. This is worrisome. Delays can lead to worsening of serious medical conditions, even unnecessary loss of life.
I'm Dr. Mark Sackwood, Chief of Cardiovascular Surgery for Memorial Care. I just completed a minimally invasive aortic valve replacement. This patient had aortic stenosis with increasing symptoms of shortness of breath, chest pain, and dizziness. Without surgery, there could have been dire consequences, including potential loss of life. If you have symptoms, please don't delay your care. We are here for you.
Oftentimes, conditions like the one Dr. Sackwood just described are discovered in one of our 4 hospital emergency departments. We know of instances in which patients have delayed going to the ER when they needed to be there.
I'm very concerned that patients with stroke, heart attack, sepsis, or other medical emergencies are delaying care. Let me reassure you, it is safe and critically important that you do not ignore the signs and symptoms such as chest discomfort, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, or sudden onset of headache. If you think you may be having a medical emergency, don't wait. Call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room.
We want you to be safe and feel safe. That is why Memorial Care is taking every possible precaution to ensure a protected environment for all patients, whether they're in one of our neighborhood health centers, urgent care centers, imaging or surgery centers, or our hospitals.
Memorial Care hospitals and outpatient centers are once again performing scheduled surgeries and procedures covering many specialties, including joint replacement, spine surgery, gynecological procedures, and many others. And we are taking many extraordinary precautions. All individuals entering any of our facilities are screened for symptoms, their temperature is taken, and a mask is provided. All surgical patients are tested for COVID-19 before their surgery. Waiting areas have been reconfigured for social distancing, and we continue to follow the most stringent compliance with disinfecting and cleaning of all equipment and spaces.
These types of precautions are taken in all of Memorial Care's locations, regardless of the service being provided. And remember, most health care isn't provided in a hospital. Memorial Care offers the greatest number of options for outpatient, neighborhood-based centers in our region. You can have your primary care and urgent care visits in person or virtually. Outpatient surgeries and imaging tests can also be performed in any number of our outpatient centers.
All of our outpatient centers stand ready to care for you. Whether your child needs a vaccination, you have a chronic condition like diabetes or high blood pressure, or whether you need an imaging procedure for a sports injury. Whatever your need, we're here.
Memorial Care is deeply committed to providing our employees, our physicians, and our community with exceptional and safe health care today and every day. Please don't neglect your health. You can rely on us as you always have. Thank you for the trust you place in Memorial Care and the honor of serving you.
Pizza. We all love pizzas, but this time we have a 5-minute pizza that is actually better for you than regular pizza. And the reason is we're using pita flatbread. And pita bread is only 77 calories, and pizza bread is 130 calories, and pita is 15.6 carbs, and pizza crust is 24 grams carbs. So definitely a better way to go with pita. So what you're gonna need is you're going to need, you're going to need your pita flatbread, a sauce of choice, cheese of choice, and then your desired toppings. Now you're going to start with a piece of pocketless pita or flatbread, and the tip is to use the Greek kind that you would use for a gyros. Now, if you want to do even flatter, you could certainly cut that in half. Then you're going to spread on your sauce of choice, marinara, pesto, white sauce. Anything would be delicious. You're going to top with cheese, veggies, meat. You know the drill, whatever you'd prefer to put on there or whatever your cravings are. You could use deli slices of provolone and they melt perfectly. Or you could use mozzarella, or any cheese would obviously work. You can even do a cheeseless one. Then you're going to place the pitas one at a time directly on the rack of a toaster oven. Toast for 3 to 4 minutes or until cheese is golden and bubbly. Or you could stick it in the oven at 450 degrees on a cookie sheet for about 10 minutes until golden, boiling for a minute or two to get the topping extra crisp if desired. So I think that's a great idea, especially in the toaster oven. You could even make them in little slices, like little, pizza slices, and you can just have them as a snack. So there's a fun way to enjoy pizza a little bit healthier than your regular pizza that you would buy at the store.
Well, did you get the answer? Let's give you that question once again. What is at the end of a rainbow? This is our brain teaser. And the answer, of course, is the W. Like I said earlier, some of these things are so obvious, so it's kind of interesting. Lisa has really brought that on last year, so kind of interesting. But brain teasers are a wonderful way to keep the mind working. Let's tell you about our movie for today. This is going to be at 2 o'clock. And 7 o'clock this evening. This is The Blind Side, starring Sandra Bullock, and that is brought to you by Irvine Clinical Research. That is going to be at 2 o'clock with subtitles and at 7 o'clock without, and be sure and tune into that. That's a wonderful story of Michael Orr, NFL football player that she took into her home and helped him get his education and be one of the best players, one of the better players at least, in the National Football League. A great story, a heartwarming story. I think you'll enjoy it. That's at 2 o'clock today and 7 o'clock this evening. Well, before we let you go, let's go outside one last time. It looks like we're going to have some warm temperatures again today. If you're watching our morning program, it is starting to clear up, a little hazier than usual, but looking at temperatures well into the 80s for the remainder of the week. And 89 seems to be the warmest day for today, the warmest day in the next few days here. So 89 degrees today, 71 overnight. So warm temperatures. So be sure and get your activities done early and enjoy, of course, your time in Laguna Woods Village. Have yourself a nice walk. Wonderful places and trails around the community that we can enjoy as well. Hey, have a great day today, and you can also watch us at 12:30 and at 5 o'clock for our rebroadcast. If not, we'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy Laguna Woods Village.
Summer is here. Diane's Hallmark has everything you need to make summer cool. From clothing to jewelry to unique one-of-a-kind gifts, Diane's Hallmark is the place to go. Diane's also has a large religious section as well. Come in today to see it all. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center.
Tip. Toss. Take action. Don't give mosquitoes a fighting chance.